Welcome to Coffee Chats with Jess. I want to chat today about how to thrive when you don't live nearby family and how we make that work. There are still ways to be filled up in motherhood, and I'm just going to share a few things that work for us and what we've done along the way. And if you're new to watching this, hi, I'm Jess. I have 3 boys, ages 7, 4, and 1, and I've been married almost 11 years to my best friend. All right, first things first, date nights. And I'm not talking date nights where you leave the house with children at home being babysat. That costs money. It's expensive. I'm talking date nights when the kids go to bed. So we try to prioritize doing a fire pit. So Josh will cook a steak on the fire pit and we'll just sit out there and chat. And that's one of my favorite ways to have a date. It's just going outside. Board games even. I love seeing board game recommendations for 2 players. So if you have some, let me know, because we do love our board games and it's fun to just play and kind of unwind in that way instead of staring at a screen. Another huge thing we do, and this is a daily thing, is quiet time. My oldest and middle son do quiet time and I do it at the same time. They're in separate rooms and it's a time for just relaxing. They each have a Yoto player. It's something we buy our kids when they turn 3. They'll listen to a story or songs and then they have an activity. So usually I'll do Legos for Maverick and maybe Duplos or Magna Tiles for Xander. It's usually for an hour. I try to hold to that hour. In the beginning stages, it was 15-minute increments and I would take whatever I could get and it slowly built up on itself. And so those days are when it's just a moment of peace, a moment for me. And I try, not always happens, but I try to lay baby down around the same time, like right before. That way the house is quiet and I can regain my thoughts and kind of push through for the second half of my shift. Next tip, hobbies. I am huge on doing hobbies. I have neglected my hobbies the last few months just because sleep has been kind of hard to figure out lately with baby, but I plan on sewing. That is on my list. My sewing machine stares at me daily. It's on the floor. I have not unboxed it yet either. I used to be a calligrapher for weddings years ago, and that was something I found so much joy in. I still letter on the side, but not like I used to. So that's another thing. Watercoloring, drawing. I'll see a craft on Instagram and save it immediately. So just find that thing that just fills you up. And it's something that you can either include your children in so they can do a craft with you, or like my sewing machine, I hope to do that after hours when the kids are sleeping and I can kind of figure out what that looks like. So highly recommend doing crafts and some sort of hobby. Another thing, gotta get time with friends and community. And that could be separate too. Josh has his guy friends he hangs out with and I have my friends. And it's so important to find times for those friends and make time just to have little outings here and there because that fills up my soul so much. Even play dates. Go hang out with your best friend, bring the kids together and just let them run around like crazy. That truly fills me up so much. One more thing I wanted to add. We joined a community group through a church when we first moved here, and they're still our best friends to this day, the group leaders. They knew us before we had kids and offered just to be there for our kids and for us. And so I think it's just so important also to find community. She's also my mentor because she's a step ahead of me in life. And I feel like that's something we all need. We all need someone who's just a little bit ahead of us just to still remember what it's like to have young children and also kind of show us what's coming. And so I also encourage you to find that. Josh and I have a number system and I don't remember who we got this idea from. It probably was some random reel years ago. But we basically, at the end of the day, we have a number out of 100 that we tell each other how we're feeling physically, mentally, and just all around, like how we're doing. And so sometimes he'll come home, like, what's your number? And I'm a 20. And there's been times too where he's like, I'm the same number. And so we kind of have to rally and regroup and say, no, we're going to finish strong. We each need to step it up. But if I'm like at a 80 and he comes home and he's at a 20, then I know that I can make up for how he's feeling and step up a little bit more too, and vice versa if the numbers are different. So that's helped us a lot gauge how each other's doing kind of quickly in passing. So I highly recommend kind of doing a number system as far as how you're doing today. What does that look like? How do we finish this day strong? Another thing that's really life-giving for us, we will rotate a sleep-in day. So I might take a random Tuesday and that's my day, and then he'll take a random Wednesday. So if baby starts waking, he takes baby and I just get that extra, maybe a couple hours depending on the day. It has been such a sweet little blessing for each other. So I also recommend doing that. Last but definitely not least, is just being in the Word. And that is something that I have been striving to do. I do the Bible on the kitchen island, and that has truly helped me so much because I'll be in the middle of a recipe, glance at my Bible, get a few verses in. So it's kind of just this ongoing thing, which is actually like better, because before I would sit down, read my Bible for an allotted amount of time and be done. But with this on the counter, it's kind of a throughout the day thing. And so I love that because it's a reminder of just being in the Word consistently. And so that's been a nice game changer as well. Anyways, I hope these tips help. I've never really done a long format of chatting, but I had a moment, so I thought I'd take it.